All right, so we're back. Your favorite recovering addicts. As always, we are going to start with the serenity prayer first and foremost. Let's handle it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen.
So 4-step.
Whoa, so we're reading out of the NA book. Okay? Last week we did step 4.
Right? So we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, all right? And we wrote it all down on paper. We got it all out in the open.
Got it out of here and out of here on paper.
Okay? So that was part 1. Part 2 is step 5.
It says, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact natures of our wrong. Some may ask, why do I have to share it with God? He already knows. He knows everything, right? Or our higher power. Our higher power knows what we do.
Some may ask, why do I got to share it with another person?
What does he got to do with my recovery, right? All right.
Just remember, though, this step is about cleaning your side of the street. All right? This is your house cleaning. This is time to do house cleaning. That, what is it? Fall cleaning or something like that?
Spring cleaning.
Spring cleaning. There you go. You do a spring cleaning inventory of yourself, all right? So in this step, you're going to be with someone that you trust. Someone that has that mutual respect for yourself. Knowing that there's an underlying trust there that what is said between you two stays between you two, okay? And once
kind of like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas?
Yeah, sort of. So remember, the only way that you could do a thorough step 5 is if you are being honest. And the only way you're going to be honest if you trust that person to tell them your secrets.
Deepest, darkest secrets. That's what it's about.
Because remember, you're only as sick
as your secrets.
Okay.
All right. So it says the 5th step is the key to freedom. It allows us to live clean in the present. Sharing the exact natures of our wrongs sets us free to live. After taking a thorough 4th step, we deal with the contents of our inventory. We are told that if we do these defects inside of us, they will lead us rewind. All right. It says we are told that if we keep these defects inside of us, they will lead us back into using. Holding on to our past would eventually sicken us, keep us from taking part of a new way of life. If we are not honest when we take the 5th step, we have the same negative results that dishonesty has brought us in the past.
This has been taught in so many different cultures and so many different beliefs.
Programs.
Like, the Bible, for one, teaches you that it says that if you keep living the same way that you lived before you had your spiritual awakening, then guess what? You're going to have the same results. It's taught in psychology.
Definition of insanity.
The same thoughts is going to result in the same actions, which give you the same results. It is taught here in the NA. If you do not be honest with this 5th step and you keep those secrets inside thinking you're going to take those to the grave, guess what? The same result, because it's going to come back up. You ain't taking that shit to the grave. That shit's going to grow in the dark. That shit is going to flourish in there. And that's not flourish in a good way. It's going to be heavier. It's going to burden you down, and it's going to prevent the blessings in your life. So it's very important that we change our way of thinking. We change our actions, and they give us different results, okay? And it starts with being honest and taking this step. Because remember, if you don't bring everything out into the open, it'll bite you in the ass.
It says, step 5 suggests that we admit to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact natures of our wrong. We looked at our wrongs, examined our behavior patterns, and started to see a deeper aspect of our disease. Now we sit with another human or another person and share the inventory out loud. Out loud!
Why is it important that we say it out loud? Why can't we just leave it at the pencil and paper?
Like, I'm coming out. I want the world to know. About to let it show. No? I'm a recovering addict. Hello.
So, I was going to say something, but I'm going to just keep that to myself. Okay, so it's important, though, that we bring it out into the open. Because when you bring something into the light, it takes away that power. It remember, in the dark, the negative grows. In the light, it dies. Okay, so when we say something out loud, we take away that power from it, and we release ourselves from it. Okay, so remember that. Our higher power will be with us during this fifth step. We will receive help and free to face ourselves and another human being. It seemed unnecessary to admit the exact nature of our wrongs to our higher power. Already knows everything, right? Well, although he already knows, an admission must come from our own lips to be truly effective. Step 5 is not simply a reading of step 4. So it's not just reading step 4. It has to be in connection with your mind, your heart. It has to be heartfelt. It has to be honest. Again, this is taught in so many different ways. What is that church called? The Catholic Church, right?
What's that church called?
The Catholic Church still practices this.
Big church.
You know, but they still practice this. They practice confession, right? And that's what we're doing here. We're confessing, okay? It's so important that you realize that you're confessing this. You're bringing it out to the open, so what? So you don't have to carry it no more.
Yes.
Okay, so and again, ultimately, it's honesty, okay? You're bringing it out, okay? And it needs to be truly from your heart and your mind, okay? It needs to come out of your lips, but it has to come from within in order for you to be able to rid yourself from it, okay?
It says, for years we avoided seeing ourselves as we really were. We were ashamed of ourselves and felt isolated from the rest of the world. Now that we have a shameful part of our past trapped, we can sweep it out of our lives if we faced and admitted it. Spring cleaning.
Admitted it.
Admitted it. It says, it would be tragic to write it all down and then just shove it in a drawer. Rule of thumb, though, don't leave your step work out for your significant others to see. Says, these defects grow in the dark and die in the light of exposure.
The light of exposure.
It says, before coming to a Narcotics Anonymous, we felt that no one would understand these things that we have done before. We feared that if we would reveal ourselves as we were, we would surely be rejected. Most addicts are uncomfortable about this. We recognize that we have unrealistic feeling in this way. Our fellow members do understand us. Now, what is that saying? The things that we did, and not to be proud of, right? But in order to heal, in order to not make those same mistakes, we have to tell somebody what we did so that it's not a secret. It's not here anymore. It's not here anymore. It's out. Saying it to a like-minded person is they're going to have the understanding, you know, you're not alone in this, you know, we're all fucking screwed up and there's a better way out, you know, there's a better way of life. And so having an unrealistic feeling of, you know, nobody's going to understand me. The things I did was fucked up. I don't want to say it out loud, you know. I feel horrible about it. Just know that whoever you are talking to, especially if they're a recovering addict, they're going to understand. They're going to be able to relate. Most of all, they're going to be able to share their secrets with you, and you're going to grow from it. You're going to grow.
And remember, there's not I was a grimy motherfucker, and I done some shady ass shit, and sometimes we're ashamed to admit that because of what we think people are going to think about us. And we are addicts that are looking for acceptance, you know. We're looking to get accepted back into our communities, back into society, back into this world. And let me tell you, the only way you're going to get there is by practicing honesty, integrity, okay? Because it doesn't stop with just doing your fifth step and confessing about that. It goes on further because it's a daily thing. It's a daily struggle. It's a daily routine that you have to set for yourself. because you have to follow through with this. Okay, you confessed about it, but you can't keep making the same goddamn mistakes over and over again. You know what? Practice, set yourself up, like put yourself in a situation where, you know what, okay, every day I'm going to set a time apart for my higher power. You know what? Because when I live with my higher power, guess what? I'm a different person. Not only am I becoming a better person, but my wife is more confident in me because she knows I'm living right. You know what I mean? And my kids look at me and be like, man, look at my dad now, you know? And next thing you know, they're sitting on time. My son prays now, you know what I mean? My son asks to do the meal prayer, you know, at night when we pray, he participates in it. And it's because you're setting yourself these new routines to avoid that past pattern that was leading you back into that negativity. Yes. So it doesn't stop with just confessing it. There's further steps that you could take to guarantee your sobriety, to guarantee your recovery, because ultimately the recovery is your responsibility. Remember that.
It's consistency. It's constantly working on your recovery so you're not working on your relapse.
Let me tell y'all something. If y'all got haters, like I got haters, the best thing for them is consistency. Because you know what? I ain't gonna lie. There's probably people out there rooting like, oh shit, he gonna fall back. He gonna fall off. You know what? Consistency. Keep that consistency. And that's the best way to prove people wrong. You know? Because there are people who don't believe that that this is follow through, that this guy really changed his life around. But when you consistent in your walk and your talk matches your actions, they ain't got shit to say.
Can't nobody tell me nothing.
So we must carefully choose. You got that?
Baby. Potty break. Okay, so it says, we must carefully choose the person who is to hear our fifth step. We must make sure that they know what we are doing and why we are doing it. Although there is no hard rule about the person of our choice, it is important that we trust this person. Only complete confidence in a person's integrity and in discretion can make us willing to be thorough in this step. Some of us take our fifth step with a total stranger. Although some of us may feel more comfortable in choosing our Narcotics Anonymous member. We know another addict would be less likely to judge us with a malice or a misunderstanding. Whether it is your pastor, your sponsor, your whoever, you know, the point behind this is just trust that person and be completely fucking honest. Because, I mean, the only thing you're hurting, if you're not, is yourself, your recovery, and your walk.
So many people try to skim through this step and just be like, all right, I'm going to get out what I feel is heavy. All those things that you're leaving inside are becoming harmful. They're becoming a hazard to your body, to you physically, mentally, spiritually. They prevent you from growing. They prevent you into flourishing, to being a fruit that gives out positive fruits. You know, a tree that gives out positive fruits, you know. There's an analogy that I've heard.
Juicy apple. You don't want to be that rotten apple, you know. You want to be a happy apple. Look, you don't want to be a bitter apple. You have a splinter.
There you go.
Tell them about a splinter. You have a splinter, right? You take it out. Next day, you don't even really think about it, right? You go about your life all happy dundy because you don't have a splinter anymore, right? You leave it in. What happens?
It starts hurting every time you touch something.
Ouch.
It starts getting a little pussy. It starts getting infected. Ooh. And that's the same thing with your secrets, with your with the things that you're holding inside. They become hazardous. They become infected. They become heavy.
They infect your mind and your heart and your soul.
And like we said, unless you bring it out, it's gonna keep fucking hurting.
Take that splinter out.
Okay, where are we at?
Here.
All right, so some of us try to hide that part of our past.
Right here.
Once we make a choice and are actually alone with that one person and proceed with the encouragement, we want to be definite, honest, and thorough, realizing that this is a life and death matter. Okay, so it is a life and death matter because
some people aren't waking up today.
You know, and I know for me myself, everything that I've built so far, I could smoke this shit all the way in a week. You know what I mean? That's the type of dude I am. You feel me? When I go out, I go all out. You know, and so for me, it is a life and death situation. Once I start holding shit in, that's why I practice doing every night a personal inventory. It's like a self journal. evaluating myself. Like, what could I have done better today? Am I holding any resentments? Is there anything going on? Because I'm practicing this step further. Every night I need to make sure I go to sleep with a clear conscience and a happy heart. Because that's going to dictate my next day. And if I start slacking on my spirituality and my recovery, I'm one step going back the other way. If I'm not feeding my spirituality, guess what I'm feeding? My damn addiction. Okay? And it's there. Our addiction is there lurking, waiting for us to fucking show weakness to be able to approach us in any shape, way, or form. And believe me, our addiction could sound like it's our voice telling us you need that shit. So be careful when you don't practice this shit honestly.
Says, some of us try to hide parts of our past in attempts to find an easier way of dealing with our inner feelings. We may think that we have done enough by writing about our past. We cannot afford this mistake. This step will expose our motives and our actions. We cannot expect that these things to reveal themselves. Our embarrassment is eventually overcome and we can avoid future guilt.
So why is it important to avoid future guilt? Because sometimes that guilt, guess when it's going to arise? When you're down. When you come into a situation where life has you with your back against the wall, guess what? All that other shit is going to start coming out then. Because it sees that you're weak at that moment and it's going to take advantage of that situation. But if you don't have nothing hindering you, if you don't have that guilt because you did your fifth step correctly and honestly, that has no weight over you.
Let's do this. Watch. Okay, so here you are, living life, happy, recovery, everything's good, right? But you still got that little splinter in here, okay? Okay? This is what's going to happen. Splinter is relapse. It's your demons. It's your negative thinking. It's all the shit that you're just keeping inside, right?
Because you weren't honest.
That part. Okay, so you lose your job. Your girl leaves you. Your kids aren't listening. Your bills aren't paid. Shit just ain't right. Okay?
Okay.
Here's your relapse. Oh, no, she ain't. Okay, hold on. Go. Your life. Live life.
Huh?
Do something like you're living life.
Okay. Go ahead. No, you got to do the whole thing. Go.
Here goes your relapse again. Oh, is he ready? Is he ready for me yet? Oh, no. Hold on. I'll wait. I'll wait one more day. Come on.
All right. Problems are still consistent. Bills still ain't being paid. I can't find a job. My friends are coming around with alcohol.
Oh, he's almost ready. Oh.
I stopped going to meetings. I stopped reaching out to my loved ones.
And I got you.
Relapse is back in your life that quick.
That's when it happens. It lurks. When you leave your secrets, when you leave your embarrassments or
you let your pride get in your way of your recovery.
It's just always going to be lurking.
Yeah.
You get rid of that shit. This motherfucker over here ain't going to be lurking no more because you are open, you're honest, you're in full
control your life.
Exactly.
All right, that was a good one. Where'd you learn that one? We do not procrastinate. We must be exact. We want to tell the simple truth, cut and dry, as quickly as possible. There is always a danger that we will exaggerate our wrongs, if it is equally dangerous to minimize and rationalize our part in the past situations. After all, we still want to sound good. A lot of us are still worried about that image. A lot of us still portray that, want to be Mr., the man. Like, fuck all that. Addicts tend to live secret lives. For many years, we covered low self-esteem by hiding behind phony images that we hope would fool people. Unfortunately, we fooled ourselves more than anyone. Although we often appeared attractive and confident on the outside, we were really hiding a shaky, insecure person on the inside. The masks have to go. We share our inventory as it is written, skipping nothing. We continue to approach this step with honesty and thoroughness until we finish. It is a great relief to get rid of all of our secrets and to share the burden of our past. All right, so you don't have to carry your burdens alone. Part of being in a recovery, a support group, is that we all help each other out. When you're feeling down, But it doesn't, I don't know that you're hurting. I don't know that you're going through some shit if you don't tell me. Okay?
Or unless you go MIA, then it's kind of obvious.
Yeah, if you're not answering your phone calls, then I know you're off the Richter. But other than that, it's like you have to take that first step as well, like saying, okay, I'm not okay. I need help. Okay, that's it right there. I'm not okay. I need help, and reach out to somebody. As recovering addicts, it's our obligation to be of service to someone, you know, and to be accessible to another person, you know, because we should be given what was given to us freely. We should be giving it to others, you know,
and respecting the fact that it is a life or death matter for some. You know, you may be doing good, and more power to you. That's the whole purpose behind this. But there's somebody out there that isn't, and there's somebody out there that needs, you know, encouragement or you know, just acknowledgement sometimes.
For real, don't forget where you came from. You know what I mean? Straight up, like we were all hurting at one time of our lives. You know, I was out there lost, and it was bad. You know, and I didn't care who the fuck I hurt to make sure that me and mine was okay, and but that was a fucked up way of living. You know, and now that I have found my recovery and that I have been living a life of integrity, I don't want to just stop there, you know. Like, man, I try to carry dollar bills in my wallet because, you know what, when I do see somebody out there that's out, you know, out on their luck, I'll be the first one to give them some money, no matter if I'm in traffic or whatnot. You know, I'm pulling over, I'm going to help them out, you know, because
with a prayer, with the offer that, you know, there's a better way of life.
Yeah, straight up. So you know, just remember that, you know.
It says usually as we share this step, the listener will share some of his or her story too. We find that we are not unique. We see by the acceptance of our confident that we can be accepted just as we are.
Now that's important right there. Because, you know, when we share our story, yeah, whatever side you're on of this, whether you're the one listening or you're the one talking, okay? Share your story. Let that person know that, you know what, they're not alone, because you know what, we've all gone through the same struggle. Sometimes that fear that prevents us from being honest is because we think that person is not going to relate to us. We think that person is going to judge me. That person is going to look at me differently. No, share your story. Let them know that, you know what, I walked through the same motherfucking path that you walked through before, if not worse. You know, we've done some grimy shit. And sometimes you got to let somebody know that so that they could feel confident enough to share their story. Okay?
It says, we may never be able to remember all our past mistakes. We do, however, give it our best and most complete effort. We begin to experience real personal feelings of spiritual nature. Where we once had spiritual theories, we now begin awaken a spiritual reality. It's that awakening we were talking about. This initial examination of ourselves usually reveals some behavior patterns that we don't particularly like. However, facing these patterns and bringing them out into the open makes it possible to deal with them constructively. We cannot make these changes alone. We need the help of God as our understanding and the fellowship of NA.
Remember, the wreckage from your past can only have weight over you if you hold it in, okay? It can't have no kind of power over you if you expose it, okay?
So easy does it.
Straight up, for real. And
we believe in you guys. We're just trying to bring it all together for you guys to have understanding of what we're dealing with, probably what you're dealing with. We love you guys.
Look, at the end of this step, it's going to be different for everybody. I know that. But I know that the end of this step for me is where I had what us recovering addicts call a spiritual awakening, okay? And the spiritual awakening is different for everybody. I know to me it felt like I was free, like I was liberated from my past wreckage, like I was liberated from all my demons, all the stuff that used to hinder me, that prevented me, that made me think I was different, that made me think like I had no other choice. That was all gone like this.
he called me and he was like,
I
babe,
got it.
I got it.
Just figured out life.
I mean, it was just like,
Straight up.
it was so childlike in a sense.
It was. I was like,
it was
alive.
like, yeah, that's exactly. I mean, his light just came on immediately. And I remember him telling me, he was like, I love who I am now that I'm sober.
Straight up, because it was like, it really, like, all of a sudden, clarity came over me, and it was like, holy shit, this shit works. This, I understand what they're telling me right now. And it was just, that was my enlightenment, you know, and that was me. And that was only on my 4th step. Imagine by the time I got to my 12th step, man. And 12th step keeps going, you know what I mean? Because every day I'm trying to reach out to somebody. Every day I want to be of service to somebody in some shape, way, or form. And, you know, like I said, recovery is your responsibility.
Yes.
And you have to do it honestly, wholeheartedly. Clean out your side of the street, man. And do a good, thorough job so that you could take the next steps in life with nothing holding you back, with nothing holding you down. You know? Life is so beautiful after recovery.
In recovery. Finding yourself. Recreating yourself. Like,
I mean, life after addiction is beautiful.
There you go. I mean, in any steps of life, you have to look at it as like, even the ugly, like you learn from it, you know, and it shapes who you are today. And you're able to appreciate that light even more. And that's what it's about. And then sharing that. In order for us to keep this, we have to share it.
And remember, it doesn't stop there. Every night, set yourself up for some kind of inventory.
Meditation.
And it'll help your connection with God. You can't expect to hear what your higher power has to say to you, what he has in store for you, if you don't give him that time. And that, you know, because everything needs to have some order. Our life has order now, where before it was chaos. Now there's order in our life. There's plans, there's goals to be met. And you just have to, like, run a strict regimen in your life and your recovery. Take your recovery serious.
Program yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, 9 times out of 10, a recovering addict has been where? Jail. What did you do when you go to jail? You program yourself to survive, to adapt to your surroundings. Do that the same with your recovery. Program yourself to live a better whole life. Because you guys deserve it. We love you guys. We'll see you next week for step 6. Tonight is the raffle. What time should we do the raffle at?
7
o'clock. 7 o'clock, we will pull the numbers. We'll put your number in a hat. We'll have the babies pick it out, as we always do. We'll go live, and we will pick out your shirt. Send me your address, or you could come to the house and pick it up, depending on who you are. You know, whatever works. You got a new Raw t-shirt. We're thinking about doing the blessing bags after 4th of July holiday. We're looking for donations. We don't really need much, you know. We're basically going to make little bags and go out. Our goal is to get 9 more people into rehab. That is our goal. They have to go into detox. From detox, they could go into a program. There's people who can help with the paperwork, people who can help with the funding, people who can help get you into the life that you deserve. And that's our goal. And to go out there into the communities and, you know, start spreading awareness, start letting them know that they aren't alone out there. And then, of course, keeping these bags in our car for a continuous blessing, you know, when you see it happen. And then that's just one of many things that we got going on. But let's just stop there. We love you guys. And
late.